You and me are gonna have a small talk later on.
I'll be busy thinking of things to say.
Film didn't belong to just one country. While Hollywood was busy inventing the rules, filmmakers around the world were quietly breaking them. These movies took noir's darkness and twisted it in new directions, making it colder, crueler, and sometimes even more personal. Today, we're counting down 10 defining works of international noir. Let's get started. 10. Brighton Rock, 1947, United Kingdom. Brighton Rock proves that noir doesn't need big cities or private detectives to feel terrifying. Set in a seaside town that should feel cheerful and open, the film instead delivers something deeply unsettling. The story follows Pinky Brown, a teenage gangster who is already rotten to the core. He's young, sharp, violent, and emotionally empty, and that's what makes him so frightening. Unlike American noir anti-heroes, Pinky isn't charming or conflicted. He believes in damnation, not redemption. The film leans heavily into moral darkness, where violence isn't thrilling and love offers no escape. Even a romance feels poisoned from the start. What really defines Brighton Rock as international noir is its emotional cruelty. There's no fantasy of escape here. Characters are trapped by class, belief, and fear. The British setting strips away glamour and replaces it with cold realism. By the time the film ends, you're left with a chilling feeling that evil doesn't need sophistication. It just needs opportunity. Le Corbeau, France. Le Corbeau is one of the most uncomfortable noir films ever made, and that's exactly why it matters. Set in a small French town, the story revolves around poison pen letters exposing secrets, lies, and scandals among the townspeople. As paranoia spreads, everyone becomes both suspect and victim. What makes this film so powerful is how it turns an entire community into the noir landscape. There's no single villain hiding in the shadows. Instead, suspicion itself becomes the enemy. Friendships collapse. Reputations are destroyed. Truth stops mattering. Made during World War II, the film feels almost dangerous in how honest it is. It suggests that cruelty, betrayal, and cowardice aren't rare. They're ordinary. The lighting is harsh. The tone is bitter, and there's no comforting sense of justice. This isn't more about crime. It's more about people. About how easily fear turns neighbors into enemies. By the end, you're not asking who sent the letters anymore. You're wondering whether the town deserved what happened to it. 8. Ossessione, 1943, Italy. Before Italian cinema became known for realism and social drama, Ossessione quietly delivered one of the rawest noir films ever made. Loosely based on The Postman Always Rings Twice, this version feels dirtier, more desperate, and painfully human. The story centers on lust, boredom, and violence. A drifter enters a miserable marriage and ignites a dangerous affair that spirals into murder. There's no elegance here, no clever schemes, just sweaty rooms, restless bodies, and bad decisions piling up. What separates Ossessione from American noir is its emotional weight. These characters aren't playing a game. They're suffocating in their lives. Desire doesn't feel exciting. It feels like a disease. Guilt doesn't arrive suddenly. It seeps in slowly. The Italian setting adds a harsh realism that removes any fantasy you might expect. Fate isn't poetic, it's brutal. And once the characters cross the line, there's no mystery about where they're headed. The tragedy feels inevitable, and that inevitability is pure noir. 7. Elevator to the Gallows, 1958, France. This is more driven by time, chance, and terrible luck. Elevator to the Gallows follows what should have been a perfect crime, until one tiny mistake ruins everything. From there, the film unravels into overlapping stories of guilt, betrayal, and quiet panic. The standout element is the mood. Long nighttime drives, empty streets, and Miles Davis's haunting jazz score create a sense of emotional isolation. Characters wander through the city like ghosts, trapped inside decisions they can't undo. What makes this film defining is how it shows noir without exaggeration. There are no big speeches or dramatic confrontations. Just people slowly realizing they've lost control. The tension comes from waiting. Waiting for an elevator, waiting for a phone call, waiting for fate to finish its job. It's stylish without being flashy, emotional without being loud. The film understands that noir isn't about crime. It's about consequences. And once the consequences begin, there's nothing heroic or glamorous waiting at the end. 6. The Bad Sleep Well, 1960, Japan. This is Akira Kurosawa at his darkest. The Bad Sleep Well takes noir and turns it into a corporate nightmare, exposing corruption buried deep inside respectable institutions. The story follows a man seeking revenge against powerful executives who ruined lives and walked away untouched. But this isn't a simple revenge fantasy. Every move is dangerous, and justice is never guaranteed. What makes this film so effective is its scale. The villains aren't street criminals. They're executives in suits, hiding behind companies and social status. The film suggests that evil thrives best when it looks clean and official. Unlike classic noir, the protagonist doesn't feel clever or protected. He's fragile, emotional, and constantly at risk of being erased. The system is bigger than any individual. The ending is especially brutal, not because of violence, but because of what it implies. Truth doesn't always win. Corruption doesn't always collapse. Noir here isn't personal failure, it's systemic rot. 5 Rififi, 1955, France. Rififi contains one of the most famous heist scenes ever filmed, but reducing it to that would miss the point. This is a noir film about professionalism, loyalty, and the cost of pride. The criminals in Rififi are aging, tired, and already losing their place in the world. The famous silent heist sequence isn't exciting, it's tense and exhausting. Every second feels fragile. What elevates the film is what comes after the crime. Success doesn't bring relief. It brings paranoia. Trust breaks down. Violence escalates. And the code these men live by starts to collapse. The film understands that noir isn't about pulling off the job. It's about surviving what comes next. Loyalty becomes a weakness. Honor becomes a liability. By the final act, the film transforms into something deeply tragic. Choices made out of pride and principle lead to ruin. Rififi doesn't glamorize crime. It shows it as a slow, unavoidable march toward loss. 4 Bob le Flambeur, 1956, France. Bob le Flambeur feels lighter than most noir, but don't let that fool you. Beneath the cool tone and casual style is a story about addiction, aging, and self-deception. Bob is a gambler who lives by charm and habit rather than ambition. He's not desperate, he's stuck. When he plans a casino heist, it feels less like a bold move and more like a last attempt to feel alive. The film plays with noir expectations. Bob isn't hunted by the police or destroyed by a femme fatale. He's undone by himself. His weakness isn't greed, it's compulsion. What makes the film defining is its influence. This is the blueprint for modern cool crime films. Casual conversations, loose structure, characters who drift instead of charge forward. But at its core, it's still noir. Fate still wins. Control is still an illusion. And the Smile Bobbers can't hide the fact that the game always takes more than it gives back. 3 Le Samouraï, 1967, France. Loose Samouraï strips noir down to silence and solitude. Alandalon's hitman barely speaks, barely reacts, and barely exists outside his routine. He lives alone, works alone, and dies alone. The film is hypnotic. Every movement matters. Every pause builds tension. There's no emotional release, only inevitability. What makes this film so influential is its control. Violence is rare, but when it happens, it feels final. The world around the protagonist feels empty, as if society itself has pushed him out. This is noir as ritual. The character lives by a strict code, and once that code fails, there's nothing left. He doesn't fight fate, he accepts it. Loose Samouraï changed how crime films approached minimalism. It proved that less dialogue, less action, and less explanation could make a story even more powerful. Cool, detached, and quietly devastating. 2. High and Low, 1963, Japan. High and Low begins as a kidnapping thriller and slowly reveals itself as one of the most thoughtful and emotionally complex noir films ever made. On the surface, it's about a crime and an investigation. Beneath that, it's a sharp examination of wealth and poverty, power and desperation, choice and consequence, and how closely they're tied together. The film opens high above the city, inside a modern, wealthy home filled with clean lines and controlled silence. From there, the story steadily descends, both physically and morally, into crowded streets, smoky bars, and desperate neighborhoods. Every change in location mirrors a shift in perspective, forcing the audience to see the same society from different levels. What truly sets this film apart is its moral tension. The central decision isn't about outsmarting a criminal. It's about responsibility and sacrifice. Who should bear the cost when systems protect some people and crush others? The investigation is tense and methodical, but the emotional weight comes from understanding the criminal's desperation without ever excusing his actions. The final confrontation offers no victory, only reflection. This is noir that refuses easy answers and leaves you unsettled long after it ends. 1. The Third Man, 1949, United Kingdom. The Third Man isn't just international noir. It's one of the greatest noir films ever made. Full stop. From the moment it opens, it pulls you into a world where morality feels broken beyond repair. Set in post-war Vienna, the city feels shattered, crooked, and morally exhausted. Rubble lines the streets, shadows stretch at strange angles, and every corner feels like a potential trap. This isn't just a setting. It's a reflection of a world recovering from war, but not from corruption. Trust feels impossible because everyone seems to be hiding something. The story slowly peels back layers of friendship, betrayal, and quiet cruelty. What begins as a simple mystery about a dead man turns into something far darker. The deeper the truth goes, the clearer it becomes that chaos isn't always an accident. Some people learn how to profit from it. Harry Lime isn't just a villain. He's the embodiment of noir's most chilling idea, charm without conscience. He's witty, charismatic, and utterly hollow inside. The famous final moments don't deliver justice or comfort, only understanding. That last walk through the cemetery is pure noir perfection. No dialogue, no redemption, just consequence. The Third Man showed the world that noir could be stylish, political, and painfully human all at once. And decades later, it still feels untouchable. Conclusion. So that's our list. 10 international noir films that didn't just follow the rules, but rewrote them. Now I want to know, which international noir would you add to this list? Or which one surprised you the most? Drop your pick in the comments. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit like, subscribe for more deep dives into dark cinema, and share this video with someone who thinks noir only belongs to Hollywood. We'll see you in the shadows next time.